A really interesting, risky dynamic at play today, something to keep an eye on as voters in Maryland choose their party's nominees for governor. The background on the Republican contest. It's mostly straightforward. Kelly Schultz is seen as the moderate, while Trump endorsed Dan Cox, who organized buses to take people to the Capitol on January 6th, is clearly the MAGA choice. So why has the Democratic Governors Association spent more than $1 million in ads to elevate Cox, the MAGA guy, Trump's choice? The answer is they would say they're playing the long game. They see Cox as an easier general election opponent in Maryland and appear eager to help him get there. Politico Playbook notes this, quote, "This isn't the first time a party has worked to choose its own opponent. And Maryland isn't the only state where Democrats have done it this year. They succeeded in boosting Trump-aligned Doug Mastriano in Pennsylvania and Darren Bailey in Illinois. They are attempting it in Arizona right now with Kari Lake. They tried unsuccessfully to do it in Colorado by giving an assist to two 2020 election deniers. It is also, I don't have to tell you, a strategy that carries significant risk. Think about it. If Dan Cox wins the nomination and then say he happens to pull off a win in the general, Democrats will have helped fund and elect a MAGA conservative to a governorship. Joining our conversation, Matt Dowd, political strategist, founder of Country Over Party, also an MSNBC political contributor. Jason's still here. Matt Dowd, you flagged this and this troubles you. This seems like another example of why it's a dangerous strategy.
Well, it does trouble me, and I have two reasons for it. First, it's just practical politics. I mean, I think anytime you take resources that could be used in a general election and orchestrate some kind of, bank shot deal where you're going to elect somebody that you think is the possible weakest candidate, doesn't always turn out well. One, you lose resources. You've expended resources. Two, that candidate has a potential to win the race, a la 2016, when most everybody said Donald Trump was the weakest Republican that could get nominated, and it would make Hillary's path to the White House easier. He became president of the United States. And so that's the one reason, sort of practical politics. The second one is a broader, I think, that if everyone is in agreement that our democracy is at stake and that we all want a vibrant, sane Republican Party that believes in democracy and believes in the Constitution, why on earth would we elevate candidates and try to diminish other candidates who are the sane ones and elevate the crazy ones in the midst of this environment that we're in today? And as you led into this, yeah, it does carry great risk, but we should actually be hopeful and supporting sane Republican candidates who believe in elections, who support the Constitution, and not the crazies. And so, one, it's just practical politics. I think it's a mistake. But just in a broader, unity around democracy, we should be giving support and help to Republicans who can emerge from this, who believe in elections.
It's such a compelling argument. I'm dying to know, Jason Johnson, if you see it the same way, or you think there's some wisdom to having Democrats having their candidates able to make this stark contrast to MAGA candidates on the other side.
Nicole, this was a cute idea maybe 10, 12 years ago. I mean, both parties did it, right? If you could find a nutcase on the other side, you put energy behind them, you put money behind them, you put endorsements behind them. That's when you didn't have to worry about a violent insurrection, right? I'm sorry, I don't really think there's good Republicans anymore, because even the ones who say that they're in favor of democracy are perfectly happy with working with the MAGA ones who are perfectly happy being a cover for terrorists. So the Democratic Party should never be funding a terrorist front. That's what this boils down to. If you give money to somebody who does not believe in the legitimacy of our elections, you are funding terrorists. You are funding insurrections. It's a bad idea. If those people get in, then it costs us the 22 and possibly 2024 presidential election. But here's the other problem with it. Nicole, how many times have we talked about candidates, minority candidates, women candidates, candidates who are struggling around the country, Senate and governor, everything else around the country, who are begging for money? who could use additional money and resources. And it's being wasted on this three-dimensional chess nonsense game that some Democrat cooked up in the middle of a consulting meeting because they think they're going to outsmart everybody. So, yeah, I'm in agreement on this. I don't think it's good strategy for our current political environment. And one of these is going to end up biting the Democratic Party on the nose. I don't know which of these candidates. Maybe it's Kerry Lake. Maybe it's Cox. One of these people is going to end up winning. And everyone's going to be like, how did this happen? It's like, yeah, the blood's on your hands.
Yeah, the moving of money. I mean, money is a finite amount of money that you can raise. And the idea that the Democratic Party, which is on the right side of all the questions about democracy and freedom right now, would be funding anyone who doesn't believe in those ideals is ominous. I'm going to ask both of you to stick around.